everybody. Welcome to the Stepping Forward with Kate show. I'm Kate Helmers, and today, for those of you that are single or in a not so good relationship and you want to, change, I have the perfect person for you. Her name is Suzanne Muller-Heinz, and listen to this. She has an 86% success ratio for matches that are successful. This is like gold, absolute gold. So welcome to the show, Suzanne. And her book, which we read, of course, Lovable, is fantastic. 21 practices for being in a loving and fulfilling relationship. And don't forget your other book, international bestseller, which was hysterical, Sexy Secrets to His Juicy Love Life. And this one is so not only endearing, but it's so wonderful for, I think, even if you're in a relationship, just to be able to up that relationship to an even better experience. And I was kidding with her earlier because there is a list in our office to read this. Everybody is getting on this list and or just getting it themselves because it's a really fun read. So welcome to the show.
Hello, so great to be here with you, Kate. Finally, it's so fabulous to be with everybody.
Yes, so you're in Colorado, right?
I am in Colorado, Lakewood, Colorado. It is beautiful. The sun's out. It's gorgeous.
Just beautiful. Okay, well, if you know our show, then you know that we ask 5 questions in the very beginning, just so the audience can get to know you. Very, very simple questions. So are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Okay. The first one is, what is an art that you love that is inspirational for you?
I love listening to people sing.
Oh, interesting.
It really moves me. Like, I can cry when people sing. I just get moved. I just love when people just belt out these big voices.
Oh, and I know from your book, you're a very spiritual, connected person. Do you have a morning routine or anything you go through?
Besides having coffee, yes, cardio. Cardio is my thing. It gets my energy and my blood going to take care of myself in the morning so then I can take care of others.
Oh, that's a great one. What is a favorite TV show of yours when you were a kid?
Oh, I was thinking about this one. And my favorite show as a kid was The Brady Bunch because I loved all the kids and the family dynamics and everything usually always worked out in the end. I loved Brady Bunch.
Well, I would sing the song, but as all my friends know, I do not have a voice to sing, so sorry. And you've traveled in so many countries. What's one that you love to take a walk in?
My favorite city to take a walk in was Switzerland. When we lived in Switzerland, we would walk down to Lake Zurich, which was about a 10-minute walk. And it was just clear blue water. It was so clean and calm, mostly. It was just so gorgeous to have talks and walks with my husband.
Oh, sounds wonderful. And what is a sound that brightens your day and makes you laugh?
The sound of birds chirping makes me
really. Oh, that's a cute one. I haven't heard that one before. Okay. So getting down to your book called Lovable, could you give the audience just an overall idea of what the book is about and how you were inspired to write it?
I love, Kate, that you said earlier that even women that are in relationships, although it's about dating and for single women, it is still for every woman that wants to feel more lovable, wants to be more lovable, wants to have that loving vibration out in her life. And what inspired me to write it was I came from a household where I had 2 parents, middle class, but my father was bipolar, alcoholic, and narcissistic. So there were times that I got very loud, a lot of yelling, and there wasn't really good, healthy communication in our household. And I felt really unlovable and not good enough. And so that affected me going into the dating world. I would attract men that, only wanted one thing. My picker was pretty broken. I didn't really know what I was doing. And so the Lovable is about what I did wrong or the mistakes that I made, and then what I learned and put into place, like the tools and the practices I learned in order to have this loving, fulfilling, lasting relationship. So it's like my gift to women to have that as well, because I knew that I couldn't live with myself knowing what I learned if I didn't pass it along to other women.
Well, you did a good job in that. That's for sure. And you taped a series of discussions with the infamous John Gray. And for those of you that don't know, he wrote Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, which is, I think, opened the world up to men and women communicate differently. So fascinating, fascinating author. What is something you learned from him?
He's such a warm, gentle man. When I met him, I was like, I want to be like him. I loved who he was and who he represents. Gosh, Kate, the thing that I learned from him was this, that if you're in an argument or a disagreement, like with your partner, that you don't have to like work it out, and you don't have to, like that whole don't go to bed mad. It's actually okay to step away and say, you know what, this isn't really going anywhere. I'm a little triggered. Let me just stop and go take a walk or go take a bath. Like he said, it's okay to separate for a little while, even sleep. Because I told him, I said, I don't like to have a conversation at 10 o'clock at night. It normally doesn't go well. So I learned from him. He goes, that makes absolute sense, Suzanne. He goes, I recommend kind of going your separate ways and then coming back and talk together. Like it's okay. Whereas I think in this world, don't go to bed mad, don't go to bed mad. So people just talk about it till 2 o'clock in the morning, and then they're exhausted the next day. But that's one of the biggest things that I learned from him.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's interesting because when I read that part in his book or something similar to that, it reminded me so much of my relationship with my husband, because he's from New York, I'm from Los Angeles. He has that quick, I wouldn't say temper. He's got a little temper, but it just flashes. And then and I had a hard time in the beginning because he would say something and then I'd think about it and get upset. And then he'd be done and say, hey, you want to go to the movies? Like, no.
Right. No, I'm still angry. I'm still processing.
And so with John Gray's book, I realized, you know what, the two of us just communicate differently. And so I mentioned that to him and I said, okay, you get over in a flash. I need like 15 or 20 minutes. So now we were able to talk about not just what the issue was, but the communications, like you say, how to do it and what's best for you. So I love that you bring a lot of that up in this book. This is kind of a tough one. If someone's getting cheated on, what's something that they can do to break the cycle of attracting those kind of people?
Yeah, so over the years, Kate, in my research and my studies for myself or for clients, what I have found is that there's some pattern or some cycle that they are stuck with. Sometimes it can come from parents, but most of the time it comes from a low self-esteem or kind of a not worthy enough. So therefore, people are picking the wrong partners for them. So that can happen. And I do find that if people don't stop the pattern or stop the cycle, it can keep happening forever. And then people are 70 years old thinking, why do I keep attracting the cheaters? So it's always an internal job. Because I remember when I attracted a sociopath, narcissistic sex addict, cheated on, it really rocked me to my core. And I had to say, stop. Like, what's going on in you, Suzanne, to attract somebody like this? So I did my healing work. I released my leftovers, and it was amazing now, the kind of husband that I have. So that's what I love to do.
Do you have, if someone's been working on themselves and feels like they're at that level, do you have an idea or a concept for them to make sure that that's the type of person, that the type of person that they're with is not a cheater? Or is it just time that, within the relationship that shows that?
That's a great question. A lot of times it's intuition. When I was dating the sociopath, narcissistic sex addict, there were signs. He was acting weird. He was vague.
Okay.
I turned the other cheek. I knew something was weird. So that's why I think women have an intuition, but if we are not in touch with our intuition, that's where we get in trouble.
So paying attention. Okay.
Paying attention and not stepping over anything.
So paying attention to every little thing.
What they say, how they act. I got a fishy vibe from him.
Yeah. So not being nitpicky, just observing.
Observant, aware, intuitive. And the other thing, this is in my book, is listen to learn, I call it, which is the tool. They'll tell you. They'll tell you. Maybe not in so many direct words, but they'll tell you.
It's really so true. So another question that came up, because we had so many people, as I had mentioned to you, we had so many people either send in information or questions. So another question is you would have a long distance. Denver, Colorado for 8 months. What are some tips? I don't know why our audio was kind of funny. Oh, okay, there we go. What are some tips you have for people that have long distance relationships?
Yes, we long distance dated for 8 months, and I have 2 tips for people. The first one is to always have like the next time that you're going to talk to them on the schedule.
Oh.
Like the reason why I wasn't like, oh my God, when am I going to talk to him? And I wasn't stressed about it is because I always knew the next time I was going to Skype with him. Or I always knew the next time I was going to see him, like that ticket was booked. And it gave me a lot of peace of mind around the relationship to know when I was going to talk to him next. I mean, he's living his life over there and I'm living my life rather than just, well, when are we going to see each other? When are we going to talk next? That's the first thing. The other thing I tell people that are going to date long distance is that it does take really 2 extraordinary people to date long distance because it's tough. It's a challenge, especially if you have the love language. Are you familiar with the 5 love languages? Yes, right, by Carrie Chapman. Especially if you have that love language touch, like you're so used to kind of, holding and embracing and kissing somebody. So what I tell people is if you do have the love language of touch, which I do, and the person isn't there, to go treat yourselves to pedicures and massage and make sure you have a lot of people around you, like your friends that'll give you hugs. And, you got to nurture yourself because otherwise you go starving. So those are my 2 tips for long distance relationships.
Those are great tips. Okay. And then these are 2 really cute ones, I thought. Do opposites really attract?
I love this question because in some ways, yes, they do. Like my husband and I are very different. He is German. He has a playful, fun side, but it takes something to bring it out in him. Like he's an IT consultant, whereas I'm a lot more natural and playful and fun, but yet he grounds me in his a little bit more serious side as well. But I don't know if I have any kind of rule of thumb on that, Kate. I think opposites can attract, like an introvert with an extrovert, but I've seen all kinds.
But you're not ruling it out. They can't.
I'm not ruling it out. No, it could happen for sure.
Okay. I agree. Yeah, I think my husband and I are kind of opposites too, and it makes for a really fun relationship, actually. Okay, and this is the next one, which I think 1,000 people want to know the answer to. Do you think there is a soulmate for each person, or maybe multiple soulmates that people can be attracted to?
I do. I think there are multiple soulmates that we have on this planet.
Yeah, that's my thinking too, is that there are multiple soulmates. There's not just one. And okay, this is so exciting. You have a Tantra speed dating event. Okay, how does that work?
I love these questions. They're fabulous. Yes, I do have the Tantra Speed Date event on my website because my husband and I have done some Tantra work before. And then a client of mine in San Francisco did the Tantra Speed Date in San Francisco, and she told me about it. She told me it was for singles and how beautiful and sacred and heart-opening the ceremony was. And I thought, I've got to bring this to Denver. So I jumped on the phone with Guy Shakar, who leads these ceremonies for singles. and he brought the events here to Denver. So now I go there as like a guest, like, oh, I don't know when they brought it to Denver and to meet new people. But yeah, it's a wonderful, heart-opening, forgiving, sacred ceremony that Tantra Speed Date offers to really bring the masculine and the feminine together in a grounded, beautiful, playful way to connect.
Well, and from an energetic standpoint, it not only opens you up, but it opens you up in a very protected way, which,
Yes.
knowing a lot about energy, having at least a filtered protection is really, really important.
Exactly. It is all about energy as well. And energy with somebody to feel that energy with a perfect stranger, but it's a very safe environment. Well done. Yeah.
And what are 3 of your 21 practices in your book?
Oh, God. I have to say 3. All right.
You can tell us all of them if you want.
I would love to tell you all of them. But my 3 favorites are the secret to happiness, because I was somebody that had really high expectations. So the men were like, oh, God, I can never satisfy you. I'm gone. I'm going to go find somebody that can satisfy you, or go find somebody that I can satisfy, rather. So the secret to happiness for me was all about loving and honoring myself. And how do I make myself happy? And then allow the man to make me happier. That's practice number 1. The second practice that I love is the lighten the load exercise around, if people are attracting people that aren't good for them, or maybe they've had a bad relationship or an unhealthy relationship with an ex, or a bad relationship that they just got out of. The lighten the load exercise can help them get all that crud and crap out of their heart, their body, their soul, to stop the patterns and to be able to attract the person really right for them. So that's one of my favorite exercises. And I can do that verbally with people as well, because it takes something to really sit down and write that out. And then my 3rd favorite practice, Kate, is the art of playful flirting. Because I think women think that flirting is like seduction and kind of sleazy.
Yes.
But it's not. It's actually about eye contact and connecting and asking, asking questions, compliments. It's really fun to be able to keep the relationship alive. Like knowing that I could keep the relationship alive, like my job, not relying on him, it was very empowering.
I think that's one of the best things for relationships. The people in relationships should really take note of that particular point, because I have a lot of women coming to me that say, and I work with energy and more on the business side, right. But because I work with so much intuition, they'll ask me questions like, well, I'm married now, so why should I flirt? Oh my gosh, you should be flirting with your husband, for goodness sakes. How fun is that?
Because the biggest concern a lot of singles have is like, well, I don't want it to get boring and stale and mundane. Playful flirting is a way to keep it exciting and alive. Because, you live under the same roof with somebody, it can get a little boring and routine.
It's so true. It's so true.
Jazz it up.
Being able to laugh with your honey is such a great thing.
That's in the book too.
Yes. And okay, so we covered that one. And one more question. In the book, you mentioned that people should be able to do their own thing, which I think is so important, that they don't have to be together all the time, which is another question I get from people is, once you fall in love, you should be like together all the time. Could you go into that a little bit more on how when you grow yourself, you actually attract the person you're with even more?
Oh, I would love to. This is a good one, Kate. Absolutely. Because a lot of times people will say, well, you got to compromise. You got to compromise. And yes, but you don't want to compromise yourself. So a good example is, I get asked this all the time too. So they're going out on a Friday night, and maybe I'll give you an example for myself. Like maybe I'm tired. Like maybe it was just a brutal week. I'm tired, but there's a party to go to on Friday night. Well, most people think, you gotta drum up the energy and okay, I'll go because I have to. I'm obligated because we're married or in a relationship. But sometimes I think it's okay to say, hey, you go. You represent us as a couple. I need to stay home and just binge watch a TV show and take a bath and have a glass of wine. And it's okay that I have found, like, that would do me more good to stay home than going to this party and maybe being a little grumpy. So that's my position.
Yes, and I think going back to your points, where if you're going by the different practices you're talking about in the book, and you picked someone who has the foundational basis as a good person in a relationship, then you don't have to worry about that cheating, and they can go off to the party and have a good time, and then you both have a great time, and then they can come back, tell you about it, etc.
Yes, because if people don't have a foundation of trust, they have nothing. I tell people, Kate, I could put my husband in a room full of 100 women naked.
That's right.
And I would trust him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, I want him to go out. And I think loving and honoring ourselves and our partner is about, you go have a great time. Go have a great time. And trusting that he'll be friendly to people, like friendly socially, but he knows the boundary just as I do, just as you do.
Right.
Because if anybody has a concern that they're going to cheat or go look at, no. Mm-mm.
And I think it's different for someone in their early 20s, or, I think people have to get that whole dating thing out of their system. But once you get into your, your later 20s or 30s, from then on, I think there are so many men that I've met in the past, very successful and just regular Joes, that so honor someone that they can have a great relationship with, that they're not going to, give that up. They're not going to do something to potentially lose that.
Yes, they wouldn't mess with it.
They're not going to mess
with it. They could lose it.
Right.
And
exactly.
That's a smart, great man.
Yes, those are the kind that we want, right?
I have. I know you do too.
Yes, which is fantastic. Okay, here we go. 30 seconds of fun to wrap this up. And I'm going to ask you as many silly questions as I can in 30 seconds. You ready?
Yes, okay. I'm ready.
Okay. Ding. Favorite wild animal?
The elephant.
Oh, a candy you like?
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Oh, yeah. A favorite recording artist?
I love Alicia Keys.
Favorite kind of exercise besides sex?
Cardio.
Do you eat a piece of pie from the front or the back now that you're going out with someone from Europe?
Oh, I love this. I actually eat it from the middle.
What's your dream car?
The Bentley.
Ooh, spaghetti or pizza?
Pizza.
Oh, there we go. 30 seconds. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. Go to loveableizyou.com, which is Suzanne's fantastic website. She's got free downloads. You can check out her book. You can also get it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. But if you are single or in a relationship, you want to up the bar a little bit, definitely try Loveable, because it just has so many great ideas. So thank you for writing the book. Check out Loveable You. Thank you for being on the show. And this is Kate Helmers for the Stepping Forward with Kate show. Thank you so much. Bye.